Okay, these are all just different wraps of tigers with holographic stuff underneath. I'll have to come back and give the stats on each of these differently if I decide to post this video. These are my early attempts at open tigers over the top of stickers and holographic things. Some of them came out pretty nice, some of them not so nice. Seemed like the last set of tests I did, I probably got about half and half. So, and you'll probably end up seeing the mistakes too. I don't know if I'll show them on video. It's kind of a waste of time because some of them are so bad they just don't look good at all. But those that they'll all get posted either in stills or something, just so everybody can see. Yeah, you know what? We don't have a 100% success rate, so. Yes, more and more tiger wrap experiments. With this one, I did holographic flake and finish on the bottom, and open layers of tigers over the top of it, 2 open layers. Regular tiger wraps, no mono in this. But what I did is I color preserved half of it and didn't preserve the other half. So you can see what happens. Just turn dark. And then as we go up the row here, this one you don't see much. You have to look really close to see the patterns. You can see them a little bit better from this angle back here. This one is very, very vague. No matter what angle you're at, very, very vague. I used a purple type holographic flake in that. This one I used a pearl flake, but pearl on a dark blank turns, you know, dark. Kind of tries to follow the color of the blank. So, and then I put lime green wraps over the top of it. Again, half of it color preserved and half of it not. And then the same thing down here. This one didn't have Okay, now we're working with some, I have light holographic flakes underneath, a calico bass sticker, and then blue size A thread, 2 threads on the bottom, sacrifice 1. Then on the top I put 50-pound test monofilament going the opposite direction, and a black thread in the grooves of the monofilament. Finish on top of that. The next one Again, size A thread, but underneath is literally a luminescent powder with some blue holographic flakes in the finish. Then a sheep's head sticker on top. Then I put blue, 2 threads, sacrifice 1, and then 50-pound mono over the top with black in between the mono, or in the grooves of the mono. This one I put green holographic flakes, and it appears I used lime, 2 threads, size A, 50-pound test over the top, and then A over the top of that. No, I take that back. This is all mono, all thread. It's A with 1 sacrifice on the bottom. Then it's D with 1 sacrifice on the top with the metallic holograph underneath the sticker. And this one's blue, again 2 threads. The top is blue, while underneath there's a pearl flake, holographic flake, then a Dorado sticker, blue size A thread, 1 sacrifice on the bottom, blue size A thread, 1 sacrifice on the top. And the last one is a purple. Underneath it is a pearl, holographic pearl. There's a sticker in there of a mermaid that you can hardly see, and that's because the purple is size D thread with 1 sacrificial on the bottom and size D thread with 1 sacrificial on the top, and it's just so dark you can't see. There's not a whole lot of room for seeing stuff underneath the tigers. Not everything works out to be a winner, I can tell you that. You're going to see some in the future of just nothing but mistakes and upsets. Just going to take pictures of these. I can't remember all the info on them, so I'm going to have to take pictures and videos and then explain what I've done on them later on. Each is just uniquely different to different materials that I'm using in it. This one I need to see from a different direction, and you can see the red shining through, the metallic red, and the blue looks like it's floating on top of it. This has got red floating on, I can tell what's underneath it. It's a tinsel tape with holographic glitter in it. This one here you really have to look at good. I don't know if we can see it through the video. I'll try to zoom in on it a little bit more. But if you take a look, those silver sections on the sides of the red and the white have little stars in it. So it's a holographic tape with stars, holographic stars in it. And some nice JTOB work around the outside of it. And then this one you can see the stars right through the thread. See if I can zoom in on it a little again. Should be able to see the stars right through the thread. What I did is I wrapped raw thread on top of tinsel and didn't use color preserver, and then put finish directly on it so it bled through. And then here's just another type of tiger. Look at it from a different direction here. You can see better patterns in it. That's also what happens sometimes in tigers. You have to change direction to see really good patterns in it. And sometimes they're a lot more subtle than others. More of these crazy mono wraps. This one's got some twists in it, and it's got black, and it's got black and yellow. Again, it's a 4-thread wrap. This one has 100-pound test mono over the top of it. Came out pretty nice. The next one is the closest thing I've ever come to a real tiger. It's orange and 2 different kinds of orange and black twist. With an orange and a black, so it's 4-thread wrap. It also has a 100-pound test mono over the top of it. One thing I'm finding out with these mono wraps is the slightest change in thread sizes can often mean a drastic change in what you get with the same size mono. So in this case, it's one of them. I went to all of these twists, 3 different kinds of twists, and they're all a little bit thicker than normal D thread. So this is a 4-thread wrap, but it's a little thicker than most of them, and I ended up having to go to 130-pound test mono. I got beautiful patterns, but you always have to check the monos before you actually start finishing things up to make sure you get the best possible pattern. This one is the same type of situation. All really large size threads. And I ended up having to go with 130-pound test mono. So literally, if you change a 4-thread wrap and maybe have a larger NCP thread or something in there, or like some threads are just thinner than others, you may end up having to test with a different color. The cool thing about the mono wraps is that with them, all you got to do is take the mono off. You don't even destroy it. You just take it off and test it with a different size. When you get the results you want, then you put it on there for real. What I usually end up doing is flattening the ends of the mono and then wrapping over itself with the mono, and then eventually tying it up with thread towards the end. I'm sure we'll find better ways to do this, but this is just some new experimentation. And again, in all these wraps, the mono has black thread in it. It has black thread in it before I put the finish on it. Okay, what I have here is more tests with tiger wraps and monofilament. These are all 4-thread wraps with size D thread. The first 3 were done a lot with what I call space dye thread. It's thread that has like 12 inches of black, 12 inches of red, 12 inches of black, and so on and so forth. And some of it's black and white, some of it's blue and black. And in the first 2 samples I have some Astro Blue. So there's 4 threads, I mixed them all up. Sorry, I got myself a cold at the Fred Hall show and haven't been able to shake it. Anyway, then I put, like I said, it's a 4-thread wrap underneath in the size D thread, and then I put 100-pound test mono over it going the opposite direction. Now, one thing about mono wraps is you can't put finish on them. The reason you can't put finish on them is because the finish will get in between the grooves and then it turns into like a sheet of glass, and then all you see is the under wrap just the way it was, which I wish I would have taken pictures of this. Maybe I have them before I did any of the other work on it. So anyway, I've decided that I've found a little method that I can put finish over the top of the mono. What I end up doing is, after the mono's done and I'm happy with whatever the result is, I take black A thread or some thread and put it in the grooves of the mono, over the top of the mono, just in the grooves of the mono. Then I put finish over the top of it, so it's almost really like a two-layered tiger wrap, only it's a mono and thread on one layer and then all thread on the bottom layer. Anyway, lots of finish. On to the next one. Looks pretty similar to the first one. Then on to this one, and you can see I put some variegated thread in there, the orange variegated thread, and I really got close to what I really would call a tiger wrap. But it also has space dye thread in there. Then on the next one I really went nuts. I put all variegated thread, or satin tone. In this case, satin tone yellow, satin tone orange, and satin tone red, with the Astro blue for the final wrap, the final thread of the 4 threads. And then a black thread over the top with the mono. As you can see, it blended together really well. I'm going to try to do a little trick here and move the camera back and forth different directions. See if you can see how the color changes. But really an interesting wrap here. I'm going to do one pretty soon with yellow, brown, and green, and something else. I don't know yet what. But see what I can come up with as a camo. Anyway, just more practice stuff that I'm doing. I'll try to give the exact numbers on the threads in my write-up to go with the video. Got a lot of videos to take, because I've literally been playing with tiger wraps and mono wraps for, since the beginning of March. Load up for the next one. Now I most likely have taken this picture already. This is kind of the stick that got me started with the whole mono thing. And it's all red, white, and blue wraps, all size 8 thread. And I did several things during the course of experimentation. Basically I have red, white, and blue under wrap. And then I did mono over wrap, and then I did thread on top of the mono. The next one, there's no mono, it's just thread on top of a bunch of finish. And then the third one that you'll run into is really an aberration. Really hard to see what's going on. I'll try to get a good picture of it. But I did some experimentation just to see what would happen stuff. Anyway, as you can see, this one with mono, I believe it's, I think it's 80-pound mono or something like that. Yeah, it's 80-pound mono. And really bizarre patterns, elongated stuff, circles, all kinds of neat stuff. But as you move it back, I'm going to come back at a different angle in the sun, and it's much harder to see things through this angle. But moving back over here, we see the colors much brighter. And then with this one, we could probably do it any angle. It's another variation is just thread work, but burnishing is kind of a key to a lot of this stuff. So the hardest part is remembering how you burnished and try to burnish the opposite if you're going to burnish on the top wrap, which some guys do, some guys don't. Scott Throop doesn't. He gets wonderful designs. I do, and I get some pretty nice designs too. So it's whatever floats your boat type thing. Okay, here's some of my recent experiments with tigers and mono and all kinds of variations. I'm just going to run down through all the samples first, and I'll try to come back later and describe what's going on with each of them. This first one, the right hand side of the picture is done with thread, and the left hand side has been touched with mono. In other words, the mono is actually taking the place of the finish that is in the right hand side. So we'll move on down to the next one. It's basically the same thing here. Fish, thread and finish on the right hand side, and on the left hand side mono with black thread over the top of the mono, actually in the creases of the mono, and finish over the top of that. Third one, same thing. Right hand side is all thread work, and the left hand side has been augmented with monofilament. Sometimes hard to see because of the sunlight. I'm going to try to lower it down just a little bit. Seems the lower I go, the more I get to see through the mono. Because the sun's so bright today, it really does disturb it. So let it come around one more time so you can see some really strange patterns on both of them. And then over here on the last one of the greens here is, I think I've got it in the center there, right? The right hand side again is thread work, and the left hand side has mono. It's mono and thread. Okay, I'm going to move the background for a second and then come on down here. I like to shoot on a gray background because it is kind of a neutral thing for the colors. I'm going to go back to the last one. The last one here, you can see some really strange looks in the right hand side. The reason is I did the underwrap and partially preserved it with color. In other words, I put streaks where there was no color preserver and streaks where there is color preserver. So it just augments the aberration of the design. Okay, and here we go with the next one. Nice kind of 50-50 bar type colors, pastels. Again, thread on the right, mono on the left. And on this one, for some reason I ended up with mono on the right and thread on the left. Again, kind of a 50-50 bar. I'm going to move it back here a little bit. Seems like when I look from this angle, I get a little brighter appearance on the 50-50 bar type thing. I'm going to do it with the one prior to and see if that shows up a little bit better for you on the videotape. Okay, now that I have it out in the sun, these are experiments that I've been playing around with tiger wraps and mono and holographic medium and stuff like that. This first one is holographic silver specks in finish. Then on top of that, once it dried, I put a marlin sticker, and then I did an open layer, 3-thread, 2 sacrificial open layer of tiger wrap on top of that. And then I did 50-pound test mono on top of that. All going different directions, of course. Since I wanted to find a way that I could put finish on mono, I decided to put a black thread in between in the gap where the mono came together, in each of the divots in the mono. And it turned out pretty good, and when I did the finish, the tiger stayed pretty much the same as it was. Came out pretty nice. Did the same thing on the next one, only without the holographic tinsel in the bottom. And I did, I believe, a blue under wrap. Then I did 50-pound test mono. And then I did a black thread in between the mono. Then I put finish on the whole thing. This last one, still in the same test. I did an open blue layer. Well, on the bottom is blue holographic tinsel in finish. Then the sticker. And then an open layer of blue. 3 threads, 2 sacrificials, then mono on top, and finish on top of that. Now the important thing with the mono that I'm finding out is there is no guarantee of what your result's going to be. When you get a good result, it's really, really interesting. But it changes with the size thread you're using. I even think the blank has some consideration in it. So what you have to do is you have to have a lot of different kinds of monofilament to test it out. This last one doesn't have monofilament, but it is a tiger wrap, double open layer of tiger wrap. All black thread with the stickers underneath the first layer of tiger wrap. Okay. Some more trials and tribs with the tigers here. In this case, what I did is between the first and second layers of tiger wrap, I put some mylar type wrap in there. Kind of gives the idea of an oil slick. Did the same thing with this, but this one has kind of a holographic effect to the mylar. Here's one of the new mono designs, which it's mono with a black thread on the 100-pound test mono in the grooves. And then this is just a standard old-time tiger that I love the color combinations, so I kept it a standard tiger. This is another mono test with the tiger wraps. I'm starting it from this direction because for some reason this one's coming out much better looking at an angle than it is from the side. The colors are more dominant. Beautiful shapes in this thing, lots of movement, as you'll see as I move up towards it. It's 4 size A threads, kind of a gold, a brown, a tan, and a black, with 80-pound test mono over the top. Like I said, you have to test each one of these things with a different size mono to see what your actual result's going to be. Kind of lose it here on the side, but on the ends it's really striking. Next one up here is a standard tiger wrap with red, white, and blue. I've also been doing some testing. Instead of what I always used to do is if I had 4 threads in the bottom and only wanted 1 on the top, I'd do the same 4 threads and do 3 sacrificials. But I've been playing some with different size threads, and I'm finding a few things that I can kind of report is if you're using 3 size A threads in your underwrap, you can get by with 2 Ds on the top, sacrificing 1. That seems to be working out pretty common. This one here is another just standard tiger wrap, but it's very subdued because there's a lot of dark colors in it. And then the final one is another standard tiger wrap. I believe this one I did the situation with 3 A's on the bottom. That would be a white, a black, and a gray. And then I just used that size A thread. And then I just used 2 size D threads on the top. Now this stick is another one where there's some work being done with mono and some done with just thread. This one happens to be with mono, 50-pound mono. I'll have to look up the colors, but just on the off chance it looks like there's a blue, a lime green, a gray. There might be a 4th in there, I'm not sure. But when I take the stills, I'll try to get the thread count on everything. The next one, you all know I do a ton of work with red, white, and blue. Now this is orange and red and white and blue. And it's all thread work. Really nice patterns. Some of these I experimented some by not just using A on top of A, but some D and D on A and stuff like that. The wind is going to give me fits here, so I'll move the background gray down so I can get the rest of these done before the windstorm comes up on me. And here's more of the yellow, orange, red, and blue. I think I was going for fire or something on this, not sure. So, kind of move it around here a little bit. That's got mono on it, and you can see when I get to a certain angle, the colors aren't as bright. From this position, they're pretty damn bright though. Then on down here, this is thread work, and I'm not exactly sure what I did. I've got really a bizarre pattern. Very stripy look, but behind the stripy look there's also some wavy lines. So I'll have to look and see what I did on that one. And then this last one is mono again, and it's done with 60-pound. The same combination of threads. So you can see how different pound tests can give different types of patterns. This is the 60 pound, and the first one you saw in this color combination was 50 pound. Just want to take a few minutes at the end of the video. Please, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, maybe a quick little comment. I try to answer all the comments that I get on YouTube. Also, if you don't like it, that's fine. Give me a thumbs down. But please take the time to, again, give me a little comment, because I really want to improve the videos, get the information out clear to everyone. Basically, what I do with these videos is I'm trying to help you get past some of the learning curves in rod building, which in the old days, nobody did that for you. So there's a lot of us out there that are doing these short little videos trying to help you improve your own techniques. I hope I'm doing some of that. Also, please understand I'm getting older. Maybe the years of smoking have caught up with me. Maybe it's just age. I don't know, but my voice and my throat gets dried out a lot. I start coughing, having a little problem with the videos. So please forgive me. Also, I've got dogs, I've got birds all over around the house, I've got fish going on in the backyard. So when I do my taping outside, you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise. At this point, I don't have a video program that I can remove that noise or have figured out how to work it to remove the noise. So please forgive that, and hope you enjoyed this. Hope to have more for you in the future. It's just about Christmas time right now, so hope you have a great Christmas, a great day, and we'll talk to you more in the near future. Thank you.